What's up, everybody? It's the one, the only, the Phenome, and welcome to yet another Phenome special and regarding World of Warcraft Legion. Now we're continuing the series of looking at all the class artifact weapons for each class, for each spec, just basically seeing the descriptions for them, perhaps some lore connected to it, and also looking at the weapon variants in visual terms. And yeah, today is the turn of the hunter, so that's what we're going to be looking at. Before I begin, I just wanted to say I might sound quite tired because I just came home from a gym session, so yeah, my voice might be a bit more down than usual. Yeah. In any case, let's drop all that and actually start to look at these artifact weapons. So we're going to start off with Beastmaster. Beastmaster is a damage spec for the Hunter class, and the weapon that Beastmaster Hunters are going to be using is called Titan Strike. And the description reads, a peerless example of techno-magical engineering, the Titan Strike was designed by Keeper Mimiron, a titanic watcher and brilliant inventor. Securely housed in the heart of the rifle, a relic known as the Thunder Spark powers the Titan Strike, harnessing the essence of storms and focusing it into concentrated blasts of energy. The rifle's power source can also be credited to Mimiron, who had devised it for his comrade Keeper Thorim in ages past. Wow, I actually didn't expect to say this genuinely, but I'm really excited to see a gun make it into the artifact weapon pool. Now, if you look at the situation here, it would seem to be more fitting to give Beastmasters a crossbow or a bow, since this is a ranged class, and those are traditional weapons, so to speak. They could be examples of ancient, powerful craftsmanship and tied with mystery and everything, and yeah, they could be fitting artifacts in the full meaning of that word. But when you look at the gun, it doesn't really seem to fit the artifact name at all. A mechanical device, that's one. It uses basically what it does is uses blasting powder to make loud booms and shoot projectiles, and honestly, that seems like pleb mode compared to firing an ornate bow silently and precisely. At least that's in my eyes. But props to the devs because they did put a lot of thought into this, in my opinion, and they went to the one place which seems to yield all the answers for World of Warcraft, all the good stuff, and that's Ulduar. And Ulduar delivered once again. In this case, via using Keeper Mimiron as the inventor here, because we know he's big on technology and everything. And yeah, the coolest part of the weapon actually still stays tied to the typical artifact mythos. The power source of Titan Strike is magical in nature, as far as we understand it. This Thunder Spark has been adapted to become a literal spark that fires the projectiles from this weapon. And furthermore, the projectiles themselves have been enhanced into energy blasts. I mean, how cool is that? This might be the first plasma rifle created in the World of Warcraft, unless someone from Team Transmog can correct me there. And yeah, I think seeing it in action is going to be absolutely glorious in my eyes. So with all this considered, I'm very happy that there is a way to put the gun into the artifact weapon pool, and basically it mixes up everything a little bit. The hunter really does mix up a lot of stuff, and we'll get to that a bit later. Okay, in terms of lore itself, since this weapon is connected to the Keepers, Mimiron and Thorim in Ulduar, I'm assuming that is where we'll need to go. I mean, if we remember, we did leave Ulduar on friendly terms with the Keepers. I mean, we helped them defeat Yogg-Saron and everything, and all the servants of the Old Gods that had invaded Ulduar, following the Keepers' corruption. But something tells me that Thorim won't be too plussed to have to give away his rifle. Basically, I think in the end it might come down to a duel with the Mighty Keeper, since he is quite fond of arena battles, as we saw in Ulduar, and the weapon is going to be the prize for the winner. But hopefully, yeah, even though all these conditions would make for a rather short and boring story, and everything probably is going to be quite different, at least as an ending. I think, at least as an ending to the storyline, I think that would be pretty damn cool. Okay, enough about that. Let's take a look at the weapon variants. And I think here we have the most diverse weapon set of them all. Yep, that's my view on this collection, and I don't think that you can find more variety with any other artifact. Now, obviously, this opinion of mine is based on the perception of modern weapons, the weapons we have today, and if you have a different opinion, then feel free to voice it in the comments. But it really does look like we have 5 different weapons represented here. So first off, left to right, we have the base weapon, which basically looks like a bolt action or a repeater rifle. I mean, sure, there isn't anything that could be used for kind of the action, the trigger action, maybe to reload the bullet or something like that. I mean, I'm not too big on technical terms here, as far as I think you can already see that. But anyhow, yeah, it does look like a standard kind of World War I, World War II kind of rifle. Then we have a enhanced version, which is, let's not shy away from the truth here, a sniper rifle. This is a sniper rifle, a longer barrel, and you have a scope with laser sights. I mean, you can't really get more sniper than that. Let's be fair here. Then we have a close quarters weapon, a pistol with a blade attached to it. Sadly, I doubt that the blade is going to be utilized on this weapon, but in any case, I think it's a nice addition, and it kind of makes sense because you have to get quite close to fire a pistol, and having that blade on it is quite handy in some situations. Okay, then we have the old school shotgun, the blunderbuss, and which seems to be the standard gun type in WoW. It's basically the diameter of the barrel, and I mean it's huge in all of its shape. Plus the tusks on the sides, they really make this a menacing weapon from whichever way you look at it. I mean, you wouldn't want to be on the other end of this boomstick, that's for sure. And finally, I was quite surprised to see a crossbow in this collection. At least that's what it looks to my eyes. Although not the type of crossbow again. Not what I expected. This looks like a one-hand crossbow, similar to the weapons that Vala from Diablo is wielding. But I may be wrong, and after all, a pistol should also be a one-hander, but I feel that this weapon will be a two-hander in any case. Same with the crossbow. All in all, this is a great weapon collection, and the skin that you pick could show maybe your preferred range of fighting. You might pick the pistol or the blunderbuss for close-up action, and maybe you could take a sniper rifle and stay like in the back, and you could really be the sniper. Basically, your beast starts fighting someone, and then you're basically a marksman with you're a marksman without going marksman spec. So I think that's pretty cool. Choices galore with Titan Strike, and I can't wait to see all these variants in game. But alas, we must move on to the Marksman spec, actually. Now, Marksman is another damage spec, and the Marksman Hunters in Legion will receive thas'dorah, Legacy of the Windrunners. And the description reads, a proud heirloom of the Windrunner family, thas'dorah was carved from a bow of the Mother Tree of Eversong Woods, shortly after the Elven Kingdom of Quel'Thalas was founded. Handed down to the eldest of each generation, the bow was last wielded by the High Elf, Ranger Captain Illyria Windrunner. It disappeared along with its owner following the destruction of the Orcs' homeworld Draenor and the subsequent formation of Outland. Okay, now we go from a very modern style weapon to the old school artifact weapon, the bow. And this is an ancient bow indeed. I mean, it's existed for nearly 10,000 years when you look at it. But what really makes it special is the last name that's attached to it, Windrunner. Now, during recent history, the Windrunner sisters have left a huge mark on the history of Azeroth. Basically, the second-born, Sylvanas, she was the last Ranger General of Silvermoon before the fall of Quel'Thalas to the Scourge. And even though she became a servant of the Lich King through a series of events which are frankly too large to discuss here, she eventually got her freedom, and she became Queen of the Forsaken, all of the basically the undead faction of the Horde, so to speak. I mean, she gathered the undead who had free will and who were willing to fight for her, and basically who wanted to find their own place in the world. And she is the queen of them, and yeah, so she's pretty big, right? The youngest sister, Verisa, she's maybe not that popular, but she did. She was instrumental in freeing the Dragon Queen Alexstrasza during the events of the novel Day of the Dragon, along with her future husband Ronan, the mage of Dalaran, and a dwarf of the Wildhammer clan, Falstad. Also, she was the leader of the Silver Covenant, a group of high elves still loyal to the Alliance, who fought against the Lich King as a separate faction in the service of Dalaran. So yeah, that's pretty big. Again, not as big as Sylvanas, but still pretty big. And then we have the eldest sister, Illyria, who supposedly still wields thas'dorah, and she was lost during the destruction of Draenor, along with her mate Turalyon. Now, the return of these two characters has been long awaited, and now that this moment seems to be upon us, finally, after all these years, since Warcraft 2, basically, Illyria's weapon, for some reason, is going to go to Marksman Hunters. And this is a thing that can potentially piss off me and a lot of other people who have anticipated the return of these heroes for so long. And bringing back major lore characters and just to get them killed would rather be absurd. And I also feel that Illyria wouldn't part ways with this family heirloom in any situation unless she would die, or if she was on the deathbed, basically. And still, even in that case, the weapon would pass to Sylvanas or Verisa. I mean, okay, maybe since Illyria is basically she's loyal to the Alliance, I wouldn't bank on her giving her weapon to Sylvanas since she's undead and she's with the Horde. I don't think even the fact that they're sisters would kind of work here. But I think she would definitely pass the boat to Verisa. Not to some random dudes. And remember, Horde heroes are also going to be getting this bow. So what the hell? I mean, the devs really are on a knife edge here, and I truly hope that they don't mess this up. Even though already with this description, in my opinion, there is no way back, save for some major changes. Maybe a change of the artifact itself. Of course, there might be some things I don't know. Maybe I misinterpreted what was said here in the description, but at the moment this looks pretty gloomy. But anyhow, let's turn away from this rather dark subject and let's look at the weapon variants instead. Okay, and yeah, I have to say I'm not blown away by these designs. I mean, they are okay. They're ornate. They are elvish. Well, most of them, and they look quite well. I mean, the three in the middle are really beautiful, and they would look great on a female, as it should be when you remember the lore. But yeah, it's nothing too flashy, I think, and they really had an opportunity here. The crossbow also makes an appearance as the final variant for thas'dorah, which feels kind of odd. It's supposedly a bow, but then again, Titan Strike is supposedly a gun, and there was the crossbow variant there as well. Now, the angle that they show this crossbow is not the best because you can't really see the top, like from above, maybe. But it also seems okay. It has a nice bird motif, similar to the bow next to it. So it's okay. It's okay. My two favorites are definitely the enhanced version, which looks pretty cool, as well as the middle one. They seem kind of more robust and majestic than the other ones. I'd say all these are solid. They're all solid, and they would look great on kind of tall female characters. But the shorter ones, along with the males, might need to settle on the crossbow because I don't know. Blood Elf hunters might look good with this, which they should basically. Night Elf hunters possibly as well, but the other kind of more. I don't want to offend anyone, but the less the less beautiful factions, basically. With this bow, I don't know. I don't know. We need to see how they look in game, but at the moment it doesn't look really good. In that respect, the variants are good. They're okay. They're okay. That's just my opinion, and I would really love to see what you think about this. Okay, enough of that stuff. Let's take a look at the survival spec now. Now, survival is going to be a damage spec for the hunter class, and the weapon they're going to be wielding is Talonclaw, Spear of the Wild Gods. And the description reads, the High Mountain Tauren crafted this spear, which predates the first demonic invasion of Azeroth more than 10,000 years ago. Talonclaw's wielders have fought alongside many guardian animal spirits, also known as ancients, to defend the world of Azeroth and its wildlife in particular. Over the millennia, these ancients have bestowed their blessings on the weapon, imbuing it with a portion of their power. Okay, first off, I am glad to see the hunter will be that the hunters will all be going with different weapons, mostly thanks to the survival spec overhaul, due to which it will be a melee spec. And it's great to see a spear make its way into the artifact weapon pool, similar to how it was with a gun. I mean, more variety is always appreciated, in my opinion. In terms of lore, this is pretty much an unknown. The High Mountain Tauren is a new faction who we haven't encountered before, so there's no info on that front when you look at it. The ancients mentioned here are the same ones who fought alongside the ancestors of the Tauren, dwarves, and elves during the War of the Ancients. They are the animal spirits of the land. They represent the power of the animal spirit, basically. Um, they're demigods like Aviana, Goldorin, Ursak, and all that kind of stuff, basically. Um, Now, the spear has been blessed by some of these ancients, and hence we do have quite a powerful weapon on our hands, one with really supernatural powers. Now, there's not much else to say about the spear, but I am quite nitpicky, to be honest, and there is a couple of issues, and they're actually might be on the mechanics side. Now, if you look at how the dwarf is holding the spear in the description picture, you can see that he holds it kind of in the middle and actually closer to the head of the spear. Now, if I put my tinfoil hat on here, I would say this kind of grip points to this weapon not being used for stabbing purposes, because that's not that comfortable in my opinion. And I think there are some concerns with that, because it could be there could be something really wrong here. There are two factors that I would like to point out. If I go absolutely nerdy here, most of the new survival hunter abilities, and yes, I have read up on them, they are focused kind of on rend and tear mechanics, as well as just inflicting slashing wounds, in contrast to spear, which should be a stabbing weapon, so there should be basically stab wounds, plain and simple. And actually, for the other factor, let's turn over to the visual variants for this weapon. Now, first off, these visuals are beautiful. There is no denying that. They really are. But upon closer inspection, you can see that the middle and the far right variants aren't really looking like spears. I mean, the middle one is basically a blunt weapon with a wolf, basically due to its wolf head at the top, and the far right one is almost has basically a sword tip at the end instead of a kind of a spear tip. Now, the wolf variant, I think, is the real culprit here. I mean, it's it's obviously not meant for stabbing. And again, I reiterate, spears should be stabbing. It's as simple as that. At the end of the day, my point here is, please, let the spear feel and look like a spear in combat. Let the abilities reflect that. That's basically, I don't want to have my spear to be just a spear skin, and it actually is being used like a polearm. I think it seems like we're going in that direction at the moment, honestly. Well, okay, I'm gonna stop whining here about this issue, but instead let's discuss the pure visuals on these variants. And as I said previously, they look really good, really good. Maybe the middle one is being the odd one out, and not because it doesn't look like a spear, but the color scheme along with the visual doesn't really look like it's a blessed weapon. It's kind of more like I don't know, a staff given to made from metal given to some evil character, and that's not really what this weapon is all about. The other ones are great. I mean, the base version is spot on, and the enhanced version, you can see the influence from the base version, but you can also kind of feel that it's gotten more powerful, and that is absolutely awesome. The blue one is interesting, perhaps representing a bond with one of the ancients of the ocean. When you look at it, I mean, it does also look like a harpoon, and that would fit this fantasy quite well, in my eyes. And finally, the bear variant, it's quite bulky, but I think, considering that this is a Tauren crafted spear, in the end, I think a Tauren could absolutely use this as a spear. I mean, I have no doubts that a Tauren could just stab someone right through with even with such a wide spearhead. So it looks great. It looks great. But this is really, I think, a weapon for a big character, someone like a Tauren. Or maybe a Draenei, actually. That wouldn't be too bad either. Okay, I think that is going to be it for the survival spec. Now, to sum everything up, my main concerns are related to the Marksman storyline, and basically the connection to Illyria there. So hopefully they don't mess that up. I really hope that that's not going to be the case. And also, I am concerned about the usage of the survival weapon, basically, and the new abilities that are going to be coming in. And hopefully they stick to the spear. I really hope they don't just turn it into a polearm with a spear skin, because that would be quite sad. It would be a great missed opportunity here. In terms of visuals, for me, Beastmaster and Survival totally take the cake. The Marksman slightly trails because of the issues with the kind of gender-specific weaponry, and also all of those variants weren't they didn't catch my eye, as far as I could see. And for the variety, it's great in all specs. No complaints on that front. So, to generalize, the looks are good. They're not spectacular. I think Marksman drops that a bit down, in my opinion, but very solid. Top third of the pool. That's for sure. Okay, so that's gonna be the end of this video. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, then feel free to subscribe to my channel, and if you leave a like or a comment, that would also be very helpful. Also, don't forget that the channel has Twitter and Facebook pages. Check them out. The links for those are in the description. Okay, that was a weird voice. Yeah, that's gonna be the end of the video then. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.